Tarzan. You may not like who you were. You may have enemies there. But you need to go home.
La leyenda de Tarzán es la nueva gran apuesta de David Yates, que es quien estuvo detrás de Harry Potter. Y estoy, qué mejor que adelante de el protagonista, guionista. Thank you guys for your time. Alex, Adam, congrats on this new adventure. Alex, were you a fan of Tarzan before?
I was actually a massive fan
Yes?
of Tarzan. Yeah, mostly because of my father. He was a huge fan since he was a little kid, and would watch all the old Johnny Weissmuller movies growing up. And so when I was a kid, he had these old VHS cassettes of those movies. So that was my introduction to Tarzan and Jane and Cheetah and that whole world. And I fell in love with it. I thought it was the coolest character. So it was slightly intimidating, daunting, and very exciting when I was sent Adam's script.
Adam, what did you change from the original story for the big screen?
Well, it's like the original novel, you mean?
Yes.
That's like the original novel is sort of told in flashbacks in some ways, but really we tried to hold on to everything that the Tarzan fans would love and would recognize in the story, but tell it in a different way so that it felt very fresh and different and unique. And so really one of the keys to doing that was to sort of invert the story and start in a place where most of the Tarzan stories finish. And then the other part was to really take a lot of true history and infuse it into the mythology of the Tarzan story.
Your husband's wildness disturbs me. I need you to scream for me.
Like a damsel.
He's Tarzan. You're Jane. He'll come for you.
Alex, did you have to work even more your body for this movie?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, it was I've never done anything like that before. I've never been on a strict diet or worked with a personal trainer like that before. It was intense.
I haven't seen him for a couple of months. He's like half the size he was I saw last time.
Yeah, we went out for a beer last night. I was like, oh. Yeah, but it was long and it was tough, and I basically didn't have a social life for 8 months because I didn't really go out and couldn't really eat in restaurants or drink. And I was so excited about the project and this opportunity, and also about the transformation of finding like the character and working with the great trainer and a choreographer on the physicality of Tarzan and his journey of going from, like Adam said, in London as Lord Greystoke when you first meet him. It's not the Tarzan that you expect to meet.
And how was working with visual effects?
Interesting. For someone who works mostly in independent movies, it was new and very exciting, tough, challenging. Because there's obviously like tons of animals and lots of interaction between Tarzan and animals, and especially the emotional ones were tough because he reconnects with an old elephant that he's known since he was a kid, or this lion that he's known since she was a cub, and there's these beautiful, beautiful moments, and I had to kind of find that in a tennis ball.
While writing, did you think of in a sequel?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. This thing is built to tell a lot of stories, and that's one of the great things about using history and then putting this on top of it. You can mine all kinds of things that feel fresh and unique and different that have a lot of depth to them. And I think the villain in this story gets us come up and we have a really great release, but there actually is a backdrop to that ends up kind of scaling up, and if we get another chance to expand that, I think everyone would love to.
So you're telling me I'm going to be on this diet till I'm 65?
Yeah. No, 8 months of the year, no social life for Alex.
David Yates.
I'll make sure you go. Yeah, I'll just write it where you have to have your shirt on for most of it.
Yes, let's
it's
do
cold
that.
out.
Okay.
We'll put him in the snow.
It's great.
Or he's just off the wagon and Tarzan's just like,
Yeah, drunk Tarzan.
Jane!
And
Someone's at the door.
Well, David Yates is the man behind the the last Harry Potter movies. How was working with David?
Are you gonna make me cry? Because I love him so much. He's an incredibly talented director, obviously, but also the sweetest man. And what was so great was the fact that he cared so deeply about the love story. It's all about John and Jane. So in a way, he's telling this very intimate love story about two people that have been torn apart, separated from each other, and they're fighting their way back together. And then we have this backdrop, the jungle, the savannah, like all the animals, all the action, the set pieces, and so it's a crazy big world. But he's so good at finding that kind of the humanity in it, and which is crucial, obviously, because if you don't care about the characters, it doesn't matter how great the action scenes are.
Adam, what other classic in literature would you like to adapt for the big screen?
Oh, so yeah, I mean, more than classic literature, I'm fascinated by history, and so, but I do. There's a project that's based on a very famous novel that I'm working on right now, but it's for television. It's for television. It's not. It's more. It wants to be a TV show more than a movie.
You should do like Three Sisters, but as a badass action movie.
Yeah.
When you came in, the air went out.
Adam, the last one. In Argentina, True Blood was a smash TV show. What do you remember about those days?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No. It was 7 years, and it was an incredible journey. I loved playing the character Eric Northman, and it was also usually when you work as a freelance actor, you have these intense relationships with other actors and filmmakers and crew for a couple of months, and then you don't see each other for a long time, and then you see each other briefly for the press junket, and then some people you stay in touch with, but a lot of people you'll never see again. And it was so lovely to have that family that you work together and then you go on hiatus, and then knowing that you come back. So we not only had the same cast, but Larry, the boom operator, was with us for 7 years, and it was so lovely to have that, and just the greatest experience. I loved it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
There's 1,000 men down there, 20,000 more on the way. We don't stand a chance.
A normal man can do the impossible to save the woman he loves. My husband is no normal man.